Just 2 weeks ago, someone raised the question if life was even possible before the Shapebuilder tool. And I think that's a great question. And I wanted to make a video about it, digging through the history of methods of building shapes in Illustrator. So there were a couple of steps when this got easier and more intuitive, but also messier. You're seeing the result here, and this is one of the most complex videos I did because I had to dig through a couple of these things behind me. Not because I didn't know how we did things back then, but because I wanted to know precisely when we did things in a certain way. So fasten your seatbelts and enjoy your trip down memory lane. We're going to start with the Shapebuilder tool, introduced in Illustrator CS5. And for that, I have built these shapes here. They are just circles interlapping, and I want to get this football here. And you see, it gets built by those. But we have to combine them. So in order to use the Shapebuilder tool, it's about shapes. We have to expand them because just now they are just thick strokes on paths. You can use the Shapebuilder tool on that as well. We're going to take a look at that. But first, let's build shapes. Select them all and go to Object, Path, Outline, Stroke. And then I can use the Shapebuilder tool on this. Now I have set it up to collect the color from the swatches. And now I'm going to build that. Just drag over these lines. And now I need to zoom in because we have a lot of pretty small parts in here. So in order to not miss anything, I had to zoom in. And now we've got it finished. And I can just take this and drag it out of here. And the rest can just be deleted. Now, when you now hold down the Command key or Control on Windows, then you see there are a lot of points. In order to get fewer points, what you can do is first divide all those strokes and then expand them and then get rid of that. But that has some downsides as well. I'm going to do that and then show you what's happening when you work like that. We're going to select them all and again take the Shapebuilder and first of all get rid of all the things on the outside by just holding down Alt and dragging over it. And now we need to delete the ones we don't need by again holding down the Alt key, clicking on it. Now we have those, and there is something left. Let's ignore that for the moment. I'm going to Object, Path, Outline, Stroke, and then we see if we can get rid of it. And now, when using this, we can now just hit Pathfinder Unite. So, but now you see we have a lot of duplicate points. This is a common issue with Pathfinders and the Shapebuilder tool as well. And that happens because in these places you have a lot of identical paths stacked. In order to solve that, what you can do is our next step in our memory journey, which is the Live Paint tool, introduced in Illustrator CS2. Before the Shapebuilder tool had been introduced in Illustrator CS5, you could use the Live Paint tool for this, introduced in Illustrator CS2. Now, the name Live Paint is pretty misleading because this is not about painting at all. This is about construction. You can use it on fills, so fill something that is enclosed, and you can use it on strokes. We're going to use it on strokes because then it's even more flexible, and we're going to take a look at that. You can select that and then go to the Live Paint tool, which is hidden by the Shapebuilder tool. So it's here, Live Paint bucket. And when you click on an artwork, you turn it into a Live Paint object. Like this. And now I want to paint those lines. And in order for that to be possible, you need to double click the tool and turn on this paint strokes. Now we're going to select a color for those strokes. I'm going to make them red, and then we can paint them. And then again, I'm going to zoom in and do the rest of this. So now again, what we have to do is also color those strokes that we do not want to have. And what I can do is triple click them. So then we have colored them all at once. And now we have this. So why is it important to have this flexible? So maybe you see this and now you decide, well, what if those strokes are thicker? And then you can just do that. You can change that and then you get thicker ones. You can also go into isolation mode and move this around if you wish so. That's the magic of Live Paint. I'm going to get out of here, and then when you're done, you click on Expand, and then we can go to Object, Path, Outline, Stroke, and then we can use the Pathfinder. And now, as you can see, we do not have these abundant number of anchor points, but there might always be something that you need to correct, such as this anchor here that we can delete, and then this is much more cleaner. But what if these didn't exist either? For that, we need to travel back to Illustrator 5. I'm going to again use two different ones because we can approach it differently. Now, what you can do is first outline those strokes, and then in order to get them divided, use divide. This is like applying the Shapebuilder tool, only it's not intuitive. So what we now have to do is get rid of what we do not need. So you have to just go and delete all that stuff that you do not need, all those little parts. And sometimes you can select them at once, but sometimes you can't. Now we have to watch out and be careful because, as you can see here, there are some objects hidden, which divide does when there are holes in things. So there are objects that are unfilled and unstroked, and we have to select them and get rid of them as well, because if we didn't and just selected that, then this would not work. Check the anchor points and you see it's about the same as the Shapebuilder tool, because the Shapebuilder tool is just dividing a little more intuitive. Let's take a look at what else we can do. For that, I have prepared these here. And first of all, we are going to invert that. So I'm going to switch fill and stroke like this, and then use outline. So outline turns all of these into outlines, and it has also cut them apart. So everywhere where they overlap, they're cut apart, and again we can now just select the same appearance in order to get rid of those that we do not need at all, and then take these little parts, delete what we do not need, apply a thicker stroke, and then we can outline the stroke and unite them. And you see, we get slightly fewer points. Now, what if even pathfinders and outline stroke didn't exist? For that, we need to travel back to Illustrator 3, which also introduced an important function that we haven't even talked about yet. First of all, if you're drawing that, then of course you need to draw the outside and the inside of the stroke you need and have that ready. I have done that already because you do not want to watch me doing that. Then what you would need to do is cut them manually. So at all the cuts that you want to have, you would do select it, and then you would take the scissors tool, which is nowadays hidden behind the eraser tool. So here we've got it. And then you can click where you want the cut to be and then cut that apart. Now that can be very, very tedious because you sometimes need to move the path in front in order to be even able to cut it and all of that. So I have done that already. And now I'm going to select the ones that I do not need and delete them. So these are not necessary. And these little ones in here aren't either. And then we need to combine them. Nowadays, you could just select all of that and then use join. But back in Illustrator CS3, you could not do that. What you needed to do is select 2 points and then use the join command. And as you can already see here, I haven't cut it precisely. We're going to ignore that because I want to get to the function that I want to show you that was introduced in Illustrator CS3. So we're going to close all of this. And I think I have them all. But nowadays, I can, of course, check that with the document info panel. There are still 2 open paths, but I'm too lazy to find them. What we haven't talked about yet is the holes in that. So if I take all of these and apply a fill to them, then you see that's okay. I could fill these with white and then it would look like it was done like this. But we couldn't see anything below. Now, if you want to set this for cutting, then of course you could leave it like that. But if you want to have holes, then you need a compound path. And these were introduced in Illustrator 3. So then you could select all of these and make the compound path. And believe me, that was a big thing. Before that, you couldn't do that. So what would you need to do if you didn't even have compound paths? This leads us to the end of our journey. Hello, Illustrator 1. Illustrator 1 has an ellipse tool, a scissors tool. It can join paths, but it doesn't have compound paths. So if you needed a hole in your drawing and couldn't solve that by just slapping a white shape on top, then what you would need to do is cut. So if we have this here, then we would need to cut something, and you would probably cut at an existing point. I'm not doing that, so just that you see what's happening. You would cut that one here and that one here, and then you would reconnect them. So we select this, and then this. That's the wrong one. I need to cut another. So let's cut this here and this one here, and then we can take this here and bring it to the front. So now I can get them together, and you would then join that. And you would do that in all these places for all those 6 holes. I have done that already so that you can see it. This is what it would have been like. Let's just get rid of the stroke and then you don't see it, but you can put objects below that. Now, sometimes you will even see that now in Illustrator version 2026. And that is when you have, for instance, a 3D object, 3D classic extrude. Let's edit that here. And I'm going to a no shading, and then we're going to expand this. Expand appearance and switch fill and stroke. And let's ungroup that a couple of times, or just ungroup all. And then you have this face here. That would be a compound path, but Illustrator found the need to cut it here. That was the trip down memory lane to solve the question, what would you do if you didn't have Shapebuilder? But we're happy that we have Shapebuilder and LivePaint and Pathfinders and compound paths and all these functions in Illustrator 2026.